Coming up, join me on Point News as I go to one of America's top haunted attractions, Scare.
And find out about new bike lanes being made in Pittsburgh and what the new changes could mean for the city commuters.
And what Point Park United Student Government decided to cut out of their budget this year when Point News starts now.
Live from the Point Park University Broadcast Center in downtown Pittsburgh, this is Point News.
Afternoon and welcome to Point News. I'm Samir Nefsi.
And I'm Nicole Paxinos. Today we start off with a story that's been making headlines in recent weeks, e-cigarettes.
That's right, Nicole. The sale of e-cigarettes is continuing to rise, but many are starting to realize the health risk they present. A new study made by scientists in the CDC found that the sale of e-cigarettes, most notably the Juul e-cigarette, have increased significantly. The CDC has since made a comment stating that the rise in their sales, quote, threaten our progress in reducing youth e-cigarette usage, end quote. The National Adult Tobacco Survey reports that at least 13.5% of all youth ages 18 to 24 use e-cigarettes solely or use them alongside regular cigarettes. The surgeon warning states that nicotine and other chemicals related to e-cigarettes can ruin the development of those up to 25 years old and below, posing a significant risk for high school and college students.
Now you may have noticed more bike lanes around campus and throughout your daily commute into town.
Point News reporter Victoria Bales investigates the city's plan to implement more bike lanes.
According to project manager Katie Sawyer, the City of Pittsburgh's Department of Mobility and Infrastructure started phase one of a two-part project to connect the Great Allegheny Passage to Point State Park, a plan that has been in the works for the past 4 years.
Project manager Katie Sawyer says the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure received a multimodal grant 4 years ago from the government to add bike lanes to the downtown area. According to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, multimodal grants are given to ensure safe and reliable transportation is provided to the residents of the Commonwealth.
So it'll be 3rd Avenue, which we're installing this week, contraflow bike lane, which means that bikes go with traffic in one direction, and they have a small, tiny bike lane that they can travel upstream in.
According to Sawyer, some bus-only lanes will be shared with bikers in addition to the newly added bike lane on 3rd Avenue. Sawyer says phase one of the project has yet to cause any road closings or rerouting of buses.
Pavement crews will occasionally stop traffic to install pavement markings.
According to Sawyer, the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure planned on implementing the bike plan onto Fort Pitt Boulevard, but businesses on this street were unhappy about the lack of parking that would come from it.
We decided to look at alternates, and 3rd Avenue is actually a pretty comfortable street for cyclists already. It's a slow street, serves mostly local traffic.
The Department of Mobility and Infrastructure found that Fort Pitt Boulevard was a busier street compared to 3rd Avenue.
We're hoping that 3rd Avenue will work out better for cyclists.
Sawyer says phase two of this two-part project will require more construction than phase one.
We are going to have some concrete work that we have to do. So next summer, I could envision there being some maybe detours for buses, maybe detours for cars. That's a federal grant project, so we'll have a contractor who will be leading that, and we'll be very careful about having the proper maintenance and protection of traffic.
According to the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure, phase two of this project will begin in 2019. Reporting from 3rd Avenue for Point News, I'm Victoria Bales.
And another new change on campus this semester is the new Pittsburgh Playhouse. However, students now have to pay $1 to see all Point Park productions. Point News reporter Carly Bonk has the story.
Point Park's United Student Government decided to cut the ticket subsidies out of their budget this year for student shows. Students will now be charged $1 per show they attend. According to the fall 2018 internal budget provided by USG, $2,500 is now allotted to a bike program. USG Treasurer Courtney Lample did say that funding for new clubs remains a constant concern, though only 4 new clubs were added this semester. According to the USG Allocation Appeals Workbook, these are about 5% of $10,105, the total funding budget for clubs.
Playhouse tickets are not
required in our budget. They were just added by a president like a few years ago. Had to cut them out of our budget to make more room for these expanding and growing student organizations.
Funding for student tickets began in 2012. According to the USG internal budget, the ticket subsidy that is now going to the bike program will be from USG's internal budget, just over $11,000. Documents provided by Playhouse staff showed last semester's ticket sales fell below the subsidy, just under $1,800, leaving 28% unspent.
I've heard a lot of student concerns just because, the main thing is that a lot of students, especially in COPA, are required to go see shows, and it's just an additional expense.
Treasurer Lample said USG did not receive many written complaints from students regarding cutting this allocation from the budget, though the Playhouse has yet to show its first performance in its new location. Reporting for Point News, I'm Carly Bonk in downtown Pittsburgh.
Now, it may be October, but it sure hasn't been feeling like fall outside, right, Samir?
That's right, Nicole. It's been pretty hot these past 2 weeks, but I think we're about to see some changes. Isn't that right, Taylor?
That's right, Nicole and Samir. We're going to experience a cool down this weekend, and I'll show you just how low those temperatures will go in my weekend forecast after the break.
Yes, that was fantastic.
Go. Go to our new website, uview.pointpark.edu.
Go, 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 go!
Join UView and find your herd.
Join EOP. And 3, 2, 1. Join EOP.
I was just saying, grab them now, or else I will.
Yeah.
Join on point with politics.
3, 2, 1.
Join Pioneer Sideline.
Loneliest number that you'll ever do.
Welcome back to Point News. Flu season is underway and temperatures are dropping quickly.
Absolutely. We've started out this week with summer-like temperatures, but now it seems like we are finally reaching fall forecasts. Isn't that right, Taylor?
Yes, that is absolutely right. Now today we have a high of 72 degrees and a low of 46 with a 20% chance of precipitation. Now it was raining a little bit earlier and it's going to continue to do that throughout the day today, so you definitely want to make sure you have your raincoat and your umbrella with you. And now looking forward to this weekend, we are going to have a high of 53, a low of 41, and a 10% chance of precipitation on Friday. Like I said, we are going to be experiencing this cool down, so this is the fall weather that we've finally been looking for. And then on Saturday, a high of 52 with a low of 40 and a 20% chance of rain. And then on Sunday, a high of 61 and a low of 47 degrees and a 20% chance of precipitation. So fall weather is finally here, so you can bring out all those sweaters that you've been waiting to put on. I'll send it back to you both over at the desk.
Thank you, Taylor. Now, with these quick temperatures changing, we're about to see you might want to start thinking about getting your flu shot.
That's right, Samir. Say boo to the flu. According to a press release from Point Park University's nurse Catherine Leslie, the Student Health Center will be hosting a walk-in flu shot clinic on Monday, October 15th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. According to Kathy Shane, registered nurse at Forbes Regional Hospital, quote, getting a flu shot is the best and most effective way to prevent contracting the illness and illnesses, end quote. The flu shot clinic will be held on the second floor of Thayer Hall.
And preventing the flu can prevent you from missing out on campus events such as the NPPA Headshot fundraiser.
That's right. Staying away from the flu means more time for students to prepare for their futures, and what's a better way to do that than a headshot fundraiser?
Point Park University's National Press Photography Association student chapter hosted a professional headshot fundraiser earlier this month. All students and faculty and community members, were welcome to attend.
The event took place in the photo studio in the Center for Media Innovation building. Students were able to purchase one headshot for $10, or they had the option to purchase 3 headshots for $20. Most students and faculty at the event used the fundraiser in order to update their current headshot on their professional website or to update their headshot for the upcoming performance season. According to President of the NPPA's Point Park student chapter, Nicole Cost, all proceeds from the event went towards funding the organization's annual trip to the Northern Short course in photojournalism.
Photojournalism is a little conference that happens every year. Last year it was in Fairfax, Virginia, and this year it's in New Jersey. And it's just where a bunch of visual storytellers get together to get inspired, listen to other people's stories of their success and accomplishments, and get advice, portfolio reviews, and it's just a good networking opportunity.
President Nicole Cost also stated that the Point Park community can look forward to more headshot fundraisers in the future if they missed out on the first event. No exact dates have been released just yet, but students and faculty will be notified by email.
And soon some students may have the opportunity to test their own photojournalism skills, but for a different reason in a different country.
That's right, Samir. Students travel to Europe as part of the International Media course, and this spring, the trip will be to the United Kingdom. Journalism professor Helen Fallon, held the first meeting for the Spring 2019 UK Media Studies Tour last Wednesday. The course is open to all Point Park students as a cultural studies course, School of Communication elective, or general elective. Fallon says School of Education students will visit education institutions while the other students visit media outlets. The packet says the cost depends on the number of students and ranges from $3,895 to $4,195. The first payment of $400 is due on December 7th to the School of Communication office.
And coming up next, find out how Point Park students are showing their Steel City pride here on campus.
And we'll have an inclusive look on inside one of America's scariest attractions. All that and more next.
What's one word to describe CAB?
Welcoming.
Community.
Creative.
Experiences.
Family. Openness.
Pineapple.
The Campus Activities Board is a student-run organization that consists of 7 different committees. Each focuses on event planning, marketing, and administrative activities. Join us in organizing the juiciest events on campus, from late-night bingo to festive dances to our team bonding meetings. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Point Park Cap, or like us on Facebook at Campus Activities Board at Point Park University.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Troop alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
2-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tomarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
Halloween is only a few weeks away, but it's not too late to check out one of America's most haunted attractions.
That's right, Nicole. I was able to step outside of the studio for a little bit, and I was able to go to Scare House, which is located in Etna, just 10 minutes outside of the city. Scare House is said to be one of the top haunted attractions in America, and this year they're back with a whole new haunt that's geared towards one of Pittsburgh's greatest filmmakers, George Ramirez. Now, the brilliantly tormented minds of the Scare House have been working year-round to bring fans updates to Nocturnia 3D and Infernal Total Darkness, but the newest haunted attraction is Zombies Reanimated.
So it is the 50th anniversary of George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, and we had to bring zombies back.
It's a haunt that used to be at Scare House in 2011, but after experimenting with other attractions, there was something that guests wanted to see over and over again.
Each year we do customer surveys, and the customers were asking for zombies to come back.
Once you are in the lobby of the Scare House, you are introduced to Z-Flip, a concept that Katie Dudas explains.
Kind of a nod to Z-Trip, another Pittsburgh reference, is essentially using these helmets to turn the very angry zombies into very nice and happy zombies.
That's nice and all, but it's pretty clear after you enter the haunt that Z-Flip isn't really working.
Yeah, throughout Pittsburgh Zombies Reanimated, there are some nods to Romero's Night of the Living Dead movie.
Now, my favorite part is this girl you'll find in Zombies. Does she look a little familiar? Because if she does, she's actually a nod to the film. Now, if you survive zombies, you're gonna find yourself in Nocturnia 3D. And if you haven't figured it out, you get to wear these bad boys, 3D glasses that help everything pop out at you.
You can notice that some of the paint color is lighter and some of it's darker. The lighter colors sit in front of the darker colors when you wear these glasses, giving you that 3D effect.
Now, after you make it through presumably the creepiest circus, you're gonna stumble into this room where you're gonna find the newest creature.
We create all of our characters actually in-house. They're all Scare House creations. A lot of planning. We start planning things usually in January.
Lastly, you'll end up here in Infernal Total Darkness, where it clearly has taken a turn for the worst.
Gone years into the future, kids have broken into this. There's a lot of damage done to the area. There's been artifacts stolen, so the demons are extra angry, and it's gotten much darker and creepier in here.
All right, I don't think I want to be caught in here. Scare House is open now to the end of October with one night in November. Tickets are starting at just $16. And if you're a student, there's a special discount for you that saves 15% off your ticket. For Point News 4, I'm Samir Nefsi. All right, and I do know it is George Ramirez, not Ramirez, excuse me.
Now, besides Halloween, the fall season also means it's time for some football to return to action.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers have gotten off to a rocky start this season, but it's off-the-field problems that are making the headlines. Our sports reporter Delaney Baumus has the story.
Antonio Brown is the talk this week, and not for anything good. Brown is facing 2 different lawsuits from April. According to ESPN, Brown allegedly threw items from inside his Florida apartment and off of the balcony and yelled at security. Both of the lawsuits are, quote, for damages in excess of $15,000. The items that were thrown from the 14th floor balcony nearly hit a 2-year-old child that was near the pool area at the apartment complex. These items included 2 vases, an ottoman, and various other pieces of furniture. The Miami-Dade County court filings say that the child has experienced anxiety as well as trouble sleeping since the incident took place. The guardian of that child is suing for, quote, intentional infliction of emotional distress and assault. Now, despite Brown's current legal struggles, the Steelers seem to be finally moving in the right direction, which has students here at Point Park wanting to celebrate their Pittsburgh pride. Nearly 80 students showed off their black and gold pride at the Steel City celebration last week. Point News reporter Taylor Fife had the chance to see what it was all about.
It was all things black and gold at the Steel City celebration event hosted by the Campus Activities Board, where students had a lot of fun.
CAB held the free event from 5 until 7 p.m. on the 2nd floor of the university's Student Center building. According to CAB officials, nearly 80 students showed up to flaunt their Steel City pride.
We really just wanted to have an opportunity for maybe students who aren't from here to get a little more familiar with what Pittsburgh is and how Pittsburgh-related people tend to celebrate the city.
The event featured a traditional Pittsburgh staple, pierogies, as well as free Millie's ice cream. Students were also able to participate in Pittsburgh-themed trivia and a raffle, which included tons of prizes, such as a poster of some of Pittsburgh's famous bridges, a Pittsburgh Pens t-shirt, and magnets of some of Andy Warhol's famous artwork. Mini games like cornhole were also available for students to play.
I decided to come out today because I love Pittsburgh, and the Steel City celebration sounded like a good way to celebrate Pittsburgh.
Local retailer Steel City was also at the event and set up a table that offered students the opportunity to purchase Pittsburgh-themed apparel. Thanks to the Campus Activities Board, students were treated with a taste of the Steel City. I'm Taylor Fife reporting from Point Park University for Point News.
That's all we have for this week on Point News. I'm Nicole Paxinos.
And I'm Samir Nafsi, and we'll see you right back here next Thursday at 2 p.m. Have a great week, Pioneers.